welcome to r/confessions, where we hear their most disturbing confessions from the internet. Now for the first story. Suffer from PTSD now due to repeated molestation. Identify myself as an ace, just to cover the fear of physical intimacy. My family and friends are unknown to all this. I want to trust them, but it's really hard, so we'll just vent it here. I was a quiet child, always tagged along with my cousin brother and his friends. Was 8 years old and those kids probably in their teens. They told me they wanted to play games with me and needed me to join them. I was happy just to be included really. I had very low self-esteem, me being oblivious to what's a bad touch just complied, and felt empty and shitty. This continued for a year. After that I stopped playing with the kids, isolated myself more. Even in my teen years I have been touched at places in crowds quite a lot of times and just froze. I ended up always brushing it off like maybe it's not their fault, but then it also happened during a sleepover with some friends. The guy who slept beside me just did things in my sleep over and over again. I had toxic friends, so couldn't really speak up, was basically present there just to listen them rant and do their chores. I always had a hard time making friends, even now in college being 20. Everyone now thinks I'm very bitchy and scary looking due to blank look on my face, so I end up being introverted, have low self-esteem, is easily manipulated by sheiks, never really dated, is scared of being touched by guys. I see everyone being happy in relationships, engaging with each other physically and mentally. Then there's me. I identify myself as an ace to turn down people, but all I really want is to just be showered with love and affection by someone and feel wanted. I have been in and out of therapy and survived 2 failed suicide attempts. Only thing that keeps me going is maybe tomorrow will be better and I will feel happy and just better. Now for the next story. Most people don't know what real loneliness is. I hear a lot of people saying that they feel lonely in quarantine because they have to video call their friends or because they can't visit other countries. I don't get it. You can still call them, right? There are some who can't even speak to their loved ones anymore. There are some who don't have loved ones to start with. Seriously, if there's something I'm not understanding, please explain. What's so bad about having to video call loved ones? You wanna know what real loneliness is? Real loneliness is when your abuser acts nice to the outside world and nobody knows what they do behind closed doors. Real loneliness is when you lash out at everyone else because you don't know how else to cope with being abused at home. I have gone through all of that and more many times. I'm not gonna tell them outright how petty their problems are, but am I the only one who feels like they only have to deal with first world problems? Now for the next story. Wife has always had a thing for her first husband. When the woman I eventually married started dating me, she and her husband were experimenting with an open marriage at his insistence because he banged every woman he could and wanted permission. When she realized he would not stop, she finally had a few dates. He was thrilled she was finally endorsing his serial adultery by having a few R-rated dates of her own. I knew their story, parts of it I mean. I knew she was married with a hall pass. I fell in love, but she was dating mainly in the futile fantasy that she would make him jealous enough to close their marriage. They continued to have sex with each other. That didn't work for her, so she began having sex with me, hoping he would get possessive. Her heart might not have been in it, but our sex was awesome to me. She began to tell him everything we did, still trying to make him jealous. I was thrilled, of course. Couldn't see the unhappy ending looming. He and I met once in a while. Had a cool but affable relationship. I might have bragged a bit about sex with her, hoping to drive them apart. Preening a bit. He was open to me that he still had sex with her, so proud of himself that he was living the dream. Sex with everyone, marriage wide open. They separated. She saw it as a trial separation and continued sex with both of us. She hoped he would come to his senses, begged her to come back. He was happy to see less of her, saw their situation as the openest marriage in history. Sex when she visited, bachelor peace when she didn't. They continued to have sex with each other. As her marriage slowly ceased to exist, she became moodier and depressed. Her sex with him less frequent. He wanted less of her, and yet more desperate, she wanted more of him. Then the divorce. Almost a formality, because she continued to see him weekly for kid stuff, and flirted and grappled for sex once a month or so. They settled into a groove, where he gave her a mercy fuck, and she imagined someday they'd be a family again. until he married someone else. So she did too. He and his second wife seem happy together as far as I can tell. I don't know if they have an arrangement or if he is cheating, but he still does my wife every 3 or 4 weeks when she's there dropping or fetching the kid. That's about how often she has sex with me. Also, kind of a mercy fuck for her second husband. He gives one to her and she gives one to me. Now for the next story. I'm so dumb I'm flunking out of school. I feel like I'm drowning in work, and I'm so overwhelmed constantly and it just keeps getting worse. I feel like I'm going to go insane. I have 3 or 4 Fs already. I feel so lost and hopeless in school. I can't understand anything, and my teachers won't help me. I'm losing my credits, and I'm going to fail out of high school because I feel so fucking stuck. I just wanna kill myself or drop out. I just want to be able to make at least decent grades, but I had to be cursed with 2 fucking breadcrumbs for brain cells. It's so infuriating. I know I could pass with flying colors if someone would fucking help me. I've been trying to get help since the start of COVID. I feel like I'm so alone in this. I don't know what to do. Now for the last story. I'm F21 going to prison for a year. The reason? I got caught dealing Adderall on my college campus. I got enticed down this road my freshman year. This girl I knew was dealing, and when she told me how much money she was making, I knew I wanted in. I wish now that I'd thought more about the consequences of getting busted than the cash. I might not be in this mess now if I had. I'm going to be sentenced on Monday. One last weekend of freedom. My parents still aren't happy about me pleading out. They want me to fight the charge, even though they know I'm guilty. Believe me, I understand their concerns. How will this conviction and sentence affect my future? How well will I handle prison life, etc.? I don't know all the answers to these questions, but I do know that I don't want to risk getting slapped with an even stiffer sentence by taking this to trial and losing the most likely outcome. Besides, I got myself into this situation and I should own up to what I've done. I admit I'm really nervous about Monday. I'm trying not to imagine how it'll feel leaving court in handcuffs. I wish I hadn't been so stupid, but it's too late now. And now I have to face the music. Well, that's it for this video. If you liked it, please subscribe. It really makes my day. See you in the next one.